My name is Dr. Bill Walsh. I'm located in Naperville, Illinois, and our organization is the Walsh Research Institute that does experimental research on things like autism and schizophrenia and behavior disorders. And I've been associated to some degree and assisted by direct healthcare access for a very long time, maybe as long as even 50 years. I get involved with a lot of labs, and I've done a lot of proficiency testing of several different labs, and I found from the beginning that DHA has been especially useful. Quite certain they have the world's best assay for pyrrole disorder. And another thing that they've done that's been very helpful to myself and to the doctors I work with, and by the way, that's more than 1,200 doctors that myself and my colleagues have trained, and what they have done is set up a profile that where the labs, the labs that we do, the profiles we do for patients who might have depression, anxiety, or whatever, these labs would typically cost something like, I think, $1,500, but because we use a profile that's always the same thing with DHA Labs, it's usually more between $300 and $400, which is great for the patients. My organization is a public charity. We're not really interested in a profit motive. Our motive is to bring this kind of technology, advanced nutrient therapy, to the world. And DHA is one of the best labs and the one that we usually use. The DHA Lab has been especially helpful to me because at times I would visit them. We would work together to develop better protocols. Yeah, working with DHA in the past, about 5-6 years, we developed a system for developing a method for automatically determined dilution pyrrole testing, which is important because it's a urine test. You really need to get the dilution measured properly, and they do it automatically now, and that was based on the cooperation that we had together. DHA is not really a research institution, but they enable quality research in the labs that they provide. I've worked with many labs over the years, and I've done a lot of proficiency testing to make sure that labs can get the right answer. Whenever I have labs through DHA, I have great confidence in what they do. I haven't done proficiency testing on DHA lately, but the last time I did it with labs in Australia and England and in Ireland, the DHA Lab was by far the best in pyrrole analysis. Yeah, one of the advantages of DHA is that in addition to experimental research, we have a program where we train doctors in our advanced nutrient therapy protocols. And this thing involves psychiatrists, medical doctors. And my goal originally was to train 1,000 of them, and we now are working on our second 1,000. One of the great advantages of DHA is, especially with the help of Dan Hansen, has been that he's developed a system of providing these services to places throughout the world. So we now have hundreds of doctors who don't live in the United States. I've had actually more than 5,000 from Australia, dozens from places like Ireland, England, Norway, and we now have patients from 62 foreign countries, including places like Indonesia and Oman and Egypt. And DHA have been very good at connecting with people and providing them with the services, and show them how to get these services with relatively low cost, despite the high cost of shipment of samples. I don't know of anybody else that does that, and certainly nobody that's been able to help us do that. So that's a big advantage. I have been recommending DHA Lab to the 1,200 doctors we've trained, and the new ones we're going to be working with in a few more months. And I do that because I think they're the best. But since I'm responsible for making sure that the many patients that we're involved with get the best therapies, I will continue to test DHA and some of the others, and I have no reason to believe that I will continue to recommend them. Well, I'd just like to add that back in the very beginning, when I didn't have an I was just I was a person who was researching the causes of violent crime, and I was getting samples from the penitentiaries and ex-convicts and trying to understand why people are violent, and do they have a predisposition for this that might be correctable. DHA, Dan Hansen, they actually gave me many hundreds of free samples for my early research, and it helped establish my program.